We have been cooperating with the A-Gallerii many times, always had beautiful events, and it was just perfect. As we have two experts here, Magister Auer and Ketli Tiitsar, there will be an interesting talk, and we will be able to learn a lot about Andrea's ideas and her work. And well, I'm also thankful that you came. There are difficult times at the moment. I will not go into any details or something, but I just wanted to say I had a thought regarding the title Black Cherries and Elderberries. I hope that the cherries will be cherries from the leaders of wisdom and develop the whole thing into something positive. Thank you.
So, good evening to everybody from my side too. I am also very happy and humble to be here today and to talk to Andrea. I didn't know her a week ago, so it is a very brief time we have spent together, but that I had a chance to read through her book and to talk to you already about that. So I hope at these difficult times it takes also your anxiety away, at least for this 1 hour when Andrea is sharing her thoughts with us. So yeah, let's start. I'm not going to have a longer introduction. First of all, I think everybody is very interested. How did you discover Estonia for you? You are an Austrian artist living and working in Vienna. So what was your first introduction with Estonia?
Yeah, in 2018, I looked for an artist residency place, and I had in mind to go to a place I've never been before. And so there was an open call at the so-called Copper Lake Artist Residency in Baskiala. This is, you may know, about 15 kilometers far from Tallinn. And I applied and was accepted, and this was my first step to come closer to Estonia. So afterwards, a few months later, I did a little summer holiday, and then I came back for one exhibition at the ballroom in A-Galerii, and also I did another artist residency project at Mardu residency. So, and now at least this is the first time I'm back in Estonia.
Fourth, yeah.
Yeah, the fourth.
So we all have been going through 2 years of COVID pandemic times. How did this influence you, or maybe my question is more like, was this the time to start with the book?
Yes, exactly. I passed the first lockdown, I passed the second lockdown, and then I decided to, since all my projects were cancelled, and there was no chance for an exhibition or for traveling abroad, so I decided to tidy up my archive. And in the next step, I decided to make a book. Yes, it was like that. Yes.
Your book is, I think, built up a little bit like a diary, and I very much loved the very beginning when you are describing your first kind of bodily experiences. Jewelry is something what is very close to our body, and you had 2 beautiful images of vinegar wraps and horseradish chain. So these were called remedies for high fever. Can you please explain a little bit the background of these works?
So I wanted to start the book. I didn't want to make it like a product catalog, and so I wanted to have a little approach, an intro, a warm up to come closer to jewelry topic, and so the capture I called Close to the Body. And these are two samples. They are strong memories from my childhood. So this is in my country. Maybe this is familiar here also, or something like we were used to wear vinegar-soaked socks or horseradish to have it on the body, close to the skin, for better health. Yeah, and so I just added this. As you mentioned, the book is a little like a diary. This is not only about products or jewelry objects. This is also like some notes or memories, like that.
Yeah, in Estonia, we used to have as children vodka socks. And but horseradish necklace is something new, so I'm keen in experimenting that. So it's
you should try.
Beautiful, beautiful idea. But how do you, like as you said, that this book is a bit like a diary? How do you documentate your process and your thoughts? Do you keep diaries or notebooks, or do you photograph, or how is it?
I don't have a diary. When I was a teenager, I had a diary, but now I have a notebook, and you should know you wrote there in once, your contact details. But mostly I have digital files and digital material like photos, or also I do photos of notes. Yeah, and this is my kind of archive.
That's I had a couple of more questions about it, but I think it's good to move towards your back to your pieces. So, looking at the materials you work with in this book, they are very much the materials we know from our daily life. They are not perhaps the materials what you have been trained to use when you were educated in metal working techniques. So perhaps let's start with this material investigations. How do you choose them, and why do you choose the materials you choose?
Yeah, so my education was really based on traditional metal work. So my college time was about goldsmithing, silversmithing, and belt maker. And after a few years of a job experience, I studied at Art University in a metal course. And the metal course was very strict. So really it was in this kind of open, you could do what you want, but it should be in metal. Yeah, and but beside this, I just started to experiment with different materials, especially with plastics. And nowadays I work with very different materials. On the one hand, plastics and found materials, found objects. So the way I choose is I accidentally see a material or find it interesting or something, and then I start working on it. Yeah, I directly work on the material, and in the first step it's just a material, and then I can understand, is it my material or not. So I really need to practice in my workshop on the material, and then I decide, will I continue with the material or not.
So you are very much process orientated artist in a way. Process is something you're enjoying, and the ideas are actually coming from the process then, rather more than from drawings.
Yes, definitely yes. I'm not a drawer and a planner, plan any detail, and no, it's quite different. I just work on the material, as I mentioned, and yes, so I wanna surprise myself about the result. Yes, not the traditional way, so I was educated step by step. Yes, it's experimental.
For very many years already, we can say that the value of jewelry is not coming from the material. What is then the preciousness of contemporary jewelry for you?
Yeah, for me it's like that. I don't focus on precious material like precious stone or precious metal, and preciousness. So it has to be something different. So I think for me it's very challenging to have a, let's say, a cheap material or a daily use material, and it's challenging to at least to create a piece, an object or a jewelry object which is precious, or you would call precious. Yeah.
Yeah, that's... While looking at your book, I kind of noticed that you are obsessed by pearls, as the perhaps the exhibition, small window exhibition here. Now you can see it as well, but you have used little balls, pearl type of forms for a very long time. Can you tell about this obsession, or how did this happen?
Yeah, I can tell, and maybe I should show first a little
Yes.
to understand. I guess you're talking about this material.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is found material I found in Netherlands. Originally, I found in Netherlands, and this is industrial made material, and I dye it and I note it. And there are some other samples done with this material, like this one. This is the same, similar technique, yeah. And in the book, I have one capture who is called pearls, and this means definitely not natural pearls. It's about something what has a pearl attitude, or is more memory to pearls, or memory about pearls, than it's a real pearl. So also maybe I make show.
Yes, maybe also the cling film
Yes.
pearls, which are in a way imitating the
So-
real fresh water pearls.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
We have both on the left hand. We have this a cling film. The word in English is seldom known, so maybe you have the yeah. And also in any case I took it to make it more visible. So this material, from daily use, from the kitchen, household material, and I also used. And I was always a little angry because when I wanted to use it, it was exactly like that today. So it was like, shall I open it from this side or from the other side? So this is so really sticky and really good connection. And so I was angry with the quality, but then I decided to use the disadvantage to get some benefit out for how can I use it for my product. Yeah, so it's a benefit. It could be a benefit. And I started to wrap the material and also to warm it up, to connect it even better. And I'm gonna give some examples, the output like this one. So I have it actually I have it in a window in A-Galerii. Maybe you have noticed it. And or maybe this sample, so earrings or pendants. And this is, I also dye it to have a different shine of colors. Yeah, this is about the pearl collection, how it happened.
But pearls are like most faked material, I think, in jewelry. So in this sense, it's incredibly interesting how you are playing with this perception or of fake and original. And is this something what you do consciously, or it was a starting point for this one content which you won?
The fake is not 100% my topic. Yeah, fake is not my topic. My topic is a little bit like awareness. So I want to be more aware about the daily material you might use every day and you don't pay any attention to it. It's about attention maybe. So now you see it in the same material in a different way, and this makes you paying attention to it. This is, I think this is the topic, not so much a fake. Yeah. It's about irritation or also about imitation. Yeah. So copy of nature always has been a big challenge. Many before me were trying on it, on the topic. Yeah.
Okay. Before perhaps coming to one of my personal favorite materials Andrea has been working on, which is bakeliiti. It's I think in Estonian we all say bakeliiti, and you said it as well, because I think in German
My
you
language,
also
bakeliiti,
kind
yes.
of pronounce it similarly. So we can also say bakeliiti. So I wanted to say that for a long time I knew your cherries because we all are using social media, and over there in this very visual world you can't get these tactile qualities what jewelry have, like the weight the smoothness, the size. You just get the images, and for a very long time I thought that they are made out of glass. So in this sense, it was again very interesting how you have been giving to the material what we know from very well from the household. Also in Estonia, bakeliit has been very known material from the light switches and different like electronical or electrical devices and old telephones. So in this sense, this is again a very, very interesting way of using very industrial material in completely with the new qualities. But tell us maybe about this bakeliit. How did you met this material or discovered it for yourself, and what is the history, because you have also investigated a little bit?
I randomly found the material. So first of all, I found these small balls. The originally use of the balls and of the other shape, this is for knobs of machine, and so I went to a shop and was looking for some balls in different material, and then I accidentally found this and started working on it. So to polish bakeliit is very difficult, so this was really challenging. And sooner or later I found more and more material. I really understood this is my material. To work on it is very, so I'm limited on the possibilities. I cannot shape it. It's industrial product, and I only can do cold working on it.
So you're not casting it, or you are not able to work with molds, or
so I don't cast it. Industry, these are industrial product. So if you cast it, you need thousands of pieces, and so I took the easy way. So we have this ready-made, and I change it, or I think about how can I use it, and the original shape always is still there, and I like it to see. Or so sometimes people see these objects and they say, "Oh, this looks so familiar to me, but what is it?" So they cannot remember, and this process is very interesting. I like it to have the original shape or attitude. This is still there.
But as it's one of the first plastics invented in the beginning of last century, what was it, what inspired you to use it from the history?
There was a really boom. It was really booming in the 1920s, bakeliit, also for jewelry. And I was very interested in the history because it had bakeliit was founded by Belgian founder, and it has a very lasting impact also for the production process of let's say telephone or different daily use materials, daily use objects. And so actually I started to do a little research on it, because still now the material exists since 100 years. So still we have the people around us they can tell about, and can tell about the memories. And in February I had some residency project in Austria somewhere. I started to collect the stories, so really personal stories,
Yeah.
Yes, but this is still a very early stage. I just started, and I try to continue. I have in mind to go to different places because the experience in America was totally different to meet Europe or Eastern Europe. So it really depends on the place, the people. Yeah.
So, yeah, you have a lovely, like, kind of open call published in the book that everybody who can share the story about bakeliit can contribute and tell you that. But it was interesting that you have also a little article about the history of the bakeliit, that Coco Chanel was introducing it as a jewelry material, or so that's also very fascinating and interesting that you mentioned it. But I was just very briefly asking, like, what is for you the wearability aspect for the jewelry, as everything what we have seen now is actually like very well wearable, and tell us a little bit about this.
Yes. In my opinion, the jewelry I make, I want to see it on the body, on a customer's body, and the jewelry pieces, or sometimes they are oversized objects, but they are still wearable. So maybe I might give you as example. This is really oversized and heavy, but still possible to wear. Even I have in mind for next opening of exhibition, I want to wear one. So these are definitely two chains. But I think for a few hours or for an evening, for an event, it's really wearable, yes? So it's still wearable. And otherwise, sometimes I do objects, they are not, but I wouldn't call it jewelry. Yeah. So the context to the body is very important. Yeah.
You have in the book also an interesting chapter about church doors and also bells. And this is also a chapter where you have a lovely article by Martina Kelsinger, who wrote about this Upper Austria, where you are from, and especially how it is known by its metal working history. So perhaps for the start, tell us a little bit about this area and also about your family.
Yes, I try to do it briefly. Yes, it's like that. The area I come from, this is Upper Austria. This means one country in Austria, county in Austria. And this is the place I studied in Linz. And Linz has a strong history with the steel industry. And my professor from metalwork course had a strong connection. So before doing the lecture in the university, he was also working there. And from my family background, my father is a watchmaker, or was a watchmaker. And my parents had a shop for jewelry and watches, but in a really traditional way, so commercial jewelry. But so this means jewelry was very soon, or maybe always has been close to me. Yeah.
Did they sell your pieces too?
Yeah, sometimes, yes. Yeah. So, as I said, this is more commercial, and sometimes they show a little collection of my work.
But now coming back to these very monumental works which you made for the public space, even like sacred public space for the historical church. Can you tell us about those? Yeah, as you have images already.
Yeah, only I have in the books a few more. Actually, I only can show this one. Yes, I was invited to a competition, and then I work together with special companies. They are focusing on bell making, and I did several projects for Christian churches, also like bronze door, portal. Yes, so I'm very happy about this experience. So there's no chance to learn to do in a university. You cannot. Only you can learn by doing. And I have partners like architects. I work together or companies. But I learned a lot from them and experienced. Yeah. But I was responsible for the whole project. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
challenging.
Yeah. How was it to manage for a woman who is working mostly with jewelry, or was it difficult?
For women? Yes. Yes, it's a little different. To be accepted in a workshop, because then I am the one who has to say the quality is okay or not, or the schedule, the timeline is okay or not. So I have to tell them, and I have to look up because the guys working there, they have 120 kilos and they are very tall, and it's sometimes a little bit hard to be accepted, but sooner or later they understand. So I think I can say I'm professional in my business, yes. And if I don't have knowledge about a very special topic, then I have to find somebody who can, or who is even allowed to decide. And sometimes so architects are needed. So I'm not allowed to decide or to sign some contracts. I need an architect for cooperation, collaboration.
Like a bigger teamwork in a way.
Yes, for sure. It's always comparison. A team.
I found it very interesting that your book is dedicated to Onno Buchhoed, to legendary Dutch jewelry maker who was educated in Germany, but who was very long, who was also teaching besides making jewelry. So he was the head of Gerrit Rietveld Academy in Amsterdam for for 16 years, and 12 years after that he was leading the Royal Academy of Arts in London jewelry department. So he had a very long career in teaching, but he was also in this way legendary that he valued very much the process of making jewelry, and also the falls and all the sketches, and everything had equal importance in his work. So how did you met him, and how did he influence you during your career?
Yeah, so I met him in 98, I guess. You know?
Yeah, I think
It's
it was
in a book
98,
somewhere.
yeah.
So 1998, yes, to be confirmed. I met him in 1998. There was summer academy in Graz, Austria, and he teach there for 3 weeks. And for me, this was the first. I was bloody young, and I was I was a student, and this was first time I went to summer academy. So, as I mentioned, at university in Linz, this was only just working on metal. And then the topic was totally different. So like any material was allowed. Yeah. And this opened up so much for me. And I had in this 3 weeks, I had a very strong output. Yeah. And he understood well. And so after a workshop, we kept in touch till end of his life. So he died very young, with the age of 58. And this was in 2002. I know that well because this was exactly 5 days before I did my degree. And yes, he was the one who always talked to me, or sometimes talked to me. So, Andrea, you have to go on artistic career, so you have to do the job. And he always advised me, you have to work very hard, and if you earn the money, you immediately have to put directly in the next project. So like this, he always pushed me. But I didn't promise, because this didn't look that attractive to me. Yeah, to work very hard every day, and yes, and so I said to him, no, I don't promise you. I don't. Maybe I will try, and I don't promise you. And so now I'm 20 years in the business, and so I decided to dedicate it to him. Yes.
But how is your ordinary working day looking like?
I have to say that being an artist, independent artist, this means a lot of office job. So since I'm working as a one-person company, and this means I have a lot of office jobs. So means I have to do some application. I have to write the concept for projects. I have to apply for residencies. I have to apply for exhibitions. And I have to do my bookkeeping and so on. A lot of office job, and I'm lucky when I can work in the studio in the late afternoon or evening. So this is mostly like that. And so I don't have like a proper day schedule or something, since I travel a lot, and my office is always with me. Yeah, so I can work from different places. And sometimes when I go to residencies, there is a studio, I can work there.
In the book you're also talking about number of residencies where you've been. How do you choose them, and what is making them attractive?
Yeah, I have 2 strategies. I come back to a place I really love. I come back again and again and again. And my second strategy is I want to go to a place I haven't been before. Yeah. So, but then mostly it randomly happens to me. So there's an open call, and I can manage to go there for a month or 3 months or something. It's depending on the other projects and on my schedule. Yeah.
On
my program, yes.
Yeah. everybody can read about these places from the book, so we perhaps we'll continue. But I liked very much how you added these kind of personal, very important events to the book. So you have added the first necklace which you sold in the gallery V and V. It was called 289 running meters, and it was made on 1998. Can you tell us about this? How did you felt when it was sold in the gallery? And
I was sorry.
Yeah.
I was a student. So I was. So one gallerist found me because of this. She saw this piece in exhibition, student exhibition, and gallerist contacted me and wanted to show this in a show. And a few months later, it was sold. So this was for me personally, was a milestone. So I was in art business. So. And I still work with the gallery, so means more than 20 years. Yes, so I wanted to have it in a book, so as a little milestone.
So it was interesting to read that the gallery statement explained that they are interested in jewelry, which is on the borderline of art and craft in a way. In Austria, there is another very famous contemporary jewelry gallery called Slavic.
Yes.
I think they are approximately the same age, like have been working over 30 years on the field. Do you also work with them?
No. Never. So you have to make the decision. So Vienna is so small city, and so if you work with the V&V, there's no chance to work with both.
Yeah.
So mostly it's a little like that. And I had this starting point, and since then I work with them.
Are they the only ones in Vienna, but in whole Austria? Can you name some other important galleries?
Yeah, not so much. Some I worked with some. They are sometimes showing fine arts and sometimes jewelry exhibition or museums. But really, to have the strong focus on jewelry, this is really less. Yeah. The market is, this is a niche market, so the market is so small, the country is too small. I apologize to say this. And then for the art jewelry, this is really niche. And so this might be also a reason I understand I have to travel.
Yeah, your market is not limited. You are also represented by other galleries all over the world. How do you choose them?
In best case, they choose me. Yeah. So this is I prefer to be chosen. This is the easiest way. And then I can be sure the gallery is they have a very clear concept and program, and they know very well. So they know I will fit in a program or not. Yeah, and this is the easy way. And sometimes I feel I have some relation to some place, and then I try to find a place to exhibit there or to sell there. Yeah. And sometimes it's not the really famous or well-known. So for me, it's very important to have a business partner who is playing fair and there's good atmosphere. Yeah, like that. Yeah. not to. I don't focus on to be in a most established gallery. So for me, it's more important to have a good working atmosphere and a good exchange and a sparkling exchange or something.
Good. I'm curious, what came out from this process of making a book for you? What did surprise you when you looked back now for your career, which has been also here for 30 years? Did something surprise you, or?
So I was very aware about my archive because I continuously work with it. So I have to make many portfolios, and the surprising point was even when the book was finished, printed, and then I compared with my portfolios, and I understood so many things had been there before in a portfolio. Yeah, this was the surprise. Yeah.
And
so I continuously work with my material from the archive, and only I understood there were some missing links. So I had to organize 2 or 3 photo shootings because some work periods were not documented that well. So I had to do some photo shootings to add the missing links.
do you have good tips for jewelry artists how to keep better way their archives, or what should they do? What would you recommend to your colleagues?
Yeah, so now I do, after making this book, I do my archive different, in a different way. I collect better, and also the talked words I collect. So when there is an opening, so I had some retrospective exhibition in January, and then now I collect also the talked words, words, yes.
Okay.
Or I collect, and to be honest, I still think in a way of right page, left page. So when I have one image or a text, and then I think, what can I do on the left hand side? So still, I feel I'm in the process, yeah.
But what is then waiting you back in Austria when you are returning now?
Yeah, I have to return on Saturday, and immediately have to prepare for an exhibition. So I can recommend you, we have a big exhibition in Thalheim, close to Wels, Upper Austria. This is about Austrian jewelry from the 1970s till now.
Oh.
And it's in a big modern museum. And I'm participating, and so I have to prepare. My work is not finished. So this is the first I have to do. Then I have to write the report about the February residency, and I have to immediately to finish up my bookkeeping and things, stuff like that. And then I can think about new projects and apply for new projects.
But how do you relax then from making jewelry?
Sometimes working in a studio is very relaxing. So if I don't have a deadline or something, so I like just to work in a studio, play around. It's very relaxing. And in general, nature is very relaxing. Any kind of nature. So let's say mountains or forests or the sea, water, any, a lot. Yes, both.
Yeah, in the book you also said lovely way that you love sea. What are your then favorite seasides here in Estonia?
This was I have to pick. Oh, sorry, I have to pick one sentence. So, Jano Bergman, he's present today. He said, he talked about, when he talked about me, he said he loves the sea, and I wasn't, yes, I love it, I know, but I wasn't, I was always talking about.
Okay.
And yes, and so we took it in a book. This is about the Estonian residency project, my first in a Catholic residency. And then I collected, and this is about Vienna. So back in Vienna, she lives and works in Vienna, and she loves the sea. Yes, and excuse again, back to your question.
No, like, is there a favorite seaside in Estonia for you? But
Yeah, for sure. For the summer, I like the Stormy Beach in Tallinn. So to swim there. And since Sunday, I have a new favorite. Yes, I was in Haapsalu, Haapsalu Promenade. So, wow, I first time have been there. I was there first time. So you might know, I collected some pictures, and I wanted to see this place because I heard about. I read this book from Estonian writer Elintona Gottschalk. You might know, and she's her roots are in Haapsalu. And in the book there are already a few images, old views from Haapsalu. So I was very curious to go there.
good. But thank you very much. This is it felt like very short now. We
Yes,
thought that it will take
yeah.
hours, but it didn't take so long. But I would like to really personally also thank you very much for this wonderful book. It's a beautiful way to get your mind away from reality now, but it also tells a lot about how you are making your choices, and also gives a little bit references how others have been interpreting your pieces. So it is a beautiful balance. Yeah,